So ADHD happens in 3 to 5% of children and adults. So that's at least one child in every classroom. So it has three core symptoms: hyperactivity, inattention, and impulsivity. And people can be diagnosed with a hyperactive type, which tend to be seen more in boys, and inattentive types, which tends to be seen more in girls, or combined types, which is a mixture of the two. It affects both boys and girls, and it's highly genetic. There's lots of brain differences that impact executive functions, and there's also a lot of co-occurring disorders. So having ADHD alone is the exception rather than the norm. Usually it's, especially in adulthood, you will see a lot of mental health difficulty, anxiety, depression. This is usually a consequence of having unsupported or having ADHD. But you also have a lot of co-occurring conditions such as dyspraxia or autism or Tourette's. So I didn't put this slide, but 30% of people with ADHD will have ADHD alone. Usually you will have another developmental condition with it. Yeah. So again, something to bear in mind when we think about ADHD. It's usually comes with other things. It can be treated with pharmacological and non-pharmacological interventions. So the way I try to explain ADHD is that it's a different way of thinking and working. You react differently to situation. You think differently about solutions. Your response to things is different, and it has an impact on everything: your social lives, your work, your education, your health, your mental well-being, your family, your relationships, everything. And it's not just the inattention, it's not just the hyperactivity, it's just a condition that impacts every single aspect of your life. And the way I try to explain it, when it's like if you live in a try to imagine you live in a world where everybody's playing the same game and you don't understand the rules and you don't know the rules. And sometimes you make a move and you win, and sometimes you make a move and you lose. And you haven't got a clue what those rules are, but everybody else seems to. And it's a lot of the adults I've worked with, we used to use this kind of metaphor to make people understand that what it's like to live with ADHD, what it's like to live in a world where you just don't get it, and you don't really know what works and what doesn't, and you make guesses, and sometimes they're the right guesses, and sometimes they're not, and it's just very hard to understand what the differences are.